weekend set to kick it off here in the Dome. The 2-5 Saints, the 3-4 Eagles. And despite the fact that Andy Reid's team has lost for their last 5, great opportunity here tonight to get to 4-4 and be a game and a half behind the Giants, a game in the loss column. Joe Vitt, 58 years old, Blackwood, New Jersey native, not too far from Philly. Once was a linebacker coach with the Eagles. He is now serving as the coach for the rest of this season as Sean Payton remains suspended. His team has a long road to hoe. Forget the division, just with hopes of the wild card. And Jonathan Vilma and the Saints defense will be on the field first. Philadelphia's won the toss. Michael Vick's team will get the ball to get it going. Thomas Morstead has been very good in his deep kicks and touchbacks. Philadelphia sends the rookie out of Georgia, Brandon Boykin, terrific return man to bring it back. A couple of teams playing with desperation on the eve of the election. Off we go from New Orleans, and Boykin won't return it. And the drive will start from the 20-yard line. So Johnny comes Michael Vick and this Philadelphia offense with the big names like Jackson, Backlund, only 17 points a game thus far this year.
They got to block better. They've got some injuries up front, but they've been inconsistent. Just hasn't been good enough. They've got to start faster. They've been outscored 40-7 in the first quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Reid comes out aggressive early. Don't be surprised at all. They take a shot right here on the first play of the game.
We begin with Clay Harbor, the backup tight end in the backfield and motioning out. On first down, here is Vick loading up and taking that shot downfield, and it's incomplete, well covered. They went right after Patrick Robinson, who has struggled, John, mightily for the Saints this year.
It's a good call. Patrick Robinson has struggled with an exclamation point. That time, a full play action pass, and they use DeSean Jackson on a deep angle, and Robinson showed his first-round talent there, a man that has really struggled in previous weeks.
Much like that Monday nighter in Washington in 2010, when the Eagles opened with a shot play, a big play, and scored 59 on the Redskins. Second down, second pass attempt for Vick, and it's complete. First down yardage regained by Jackson. DeSean will get 18 out of it. Shown the sideline by Jabari Greer at the 38.
Missed tackles continue to plague the New Orleans Saints. That time Roman Harper fails to wrap up DeSean Jackson on this over route. Watch Harper come in here, miss the tackle, and DeSean Jackson is off to the races. Big first down for Philadelphia. Simple over route on the backside of a naked bootleg, and the New Orleans Saints, Velma, Harper must tackle better.
Vick adjusted to LaShawn McCoy's first throw. No gain. Pushed out of bounds. Yards. They've come by the tons against this New Orleans defense. The most yards allowed in the first 7 games of a season in the history of the NFL was 475 per game.
Important that they get some confidence early in this game. They need to get off the field immediately. And it all starts with eliminating big plays. They were gashed 9 times for 20 yards or more last week against Denver. It's important they get off the field now.
As the Philly faces Steve Spagnuolo, former Eagles assistant for 8 years, new defensive coordinator for New Orleans this year. McCoy running left, at the 42-yard line. John, you spent time as an assistant coach with Andy Reid over your days. The first 15 plays are often talked about. What are the Eagles trying to accomplish in the first 15 here?
Well, first of all, you want to get a first down, get your offense in rhythm. You'd like to feature your best players. You've seen McCoy carry the ball. You've seen DeSean Jackson catch it. You want high percentage throws. And don't be surprised if there's a gadget or another shot play early. Andy Reid loves that to establish his aggressive style.
The rookie Bryce Brown is the back on 3rd and 6. And the Saints rush 3, and the throw is complete for the first down to Clay Harbor. So Harbor didn't play much in the last game. His 9th reception of the season. 3rd year now in the NFL for Harbor.
Harbor's a good receiver. They like to use he and Brent Selleck together. That time he beats Curtis Lofton. on a simple stick route to the outside. Watch him flash his eyes. He sees the ball leave Michael Vick's hands. Big third down conversion.
Shy of midfield, Michael Vick. Over the middle and ruled, let's see, no signal yet, incomplete. That's right, Brent Celek, the intended receiver. Now a conversation between the two officials to confirm the call on the ground.
This might be a challenge. Celek runs right down the seam again against Curtis Lofton. That's the matchup Andy Reid's looking for. Good call on a no catch. But Lofton is a very good linebacker in base situations. Teams have attempted to spread the Saints defense out and create space matchups with the tight end against Curtis Lofton and look for Philadelphia to continue to work Celek inside against Curtis Lofton, the former Falcon.
A lot of pressure brought by New Orleans. Vick hit as he throws sideline. Macklin incomplete. Rules that he was out when he finally got it. Cameron Jordan, second year out of Cal, made the push inside on Vick.
When you blitz Michael Vick, you have to contain him. This time you're going to see a cross dog coming right up the middle. But New Orleans does a nice job containing Vick in the pocket. You see the lick that Vick takes late from Jonathan Casillas and Cam Jordan. Good pressure.
And they brought that pressure up the middle with two defensive linemen. Usually we see linebackers there. But not atypical for the Saints. 3rd and 10. Vick is trying to get the ball, trying to call timeout. And let's see if the referee, Clete Blakeman, gives him the timeout first.
Philadelphia takes their first timeout prior to the snap.
Just under 3 minutes gone by. Opening drive of the game. Philly, 3rd and 10. Man was hooking up the defense with the Giants. Eagles before that. Steve Spagnuolo was the St. Louis Rams head coach, now here in New Orleans.
Very creative blitz coach, especially on 3rd and long situations. Haven't been able to use a lot of these blitzes because they haven't gotten offenses into 3rd and long, but here they come.
Eagles go 3 wide. Bringing Stanley Havili, the fullback, to help pick up any pressure. He does. They still get to Vick, and his throw for Jason Avant is caught for the first down. A good job by Avant and Vick. Gain of 14.
Got 8 New Orleans Saints on the line of scrimmage, and Sean McCoy does a nice job picking up the blitz, but Michael Vick hangs in the pocket, finds Avant on an inside breaking route. How about that throw? They bring one more than you have in protection. You have to beat the blitz with the throw. This will be reviewed.
Yep, and challenge flag thrown by Joe Vitt. And it was a giveaway with the rubber pellets that are underneath this artificial surface. And Joe Vitt threw the challenge flag, and looks like it's one New Orleans will win. Second game, Joe Vitt is the head coach for the Saints. Get a look at it down there, and a look at it in replay. Too soon as we went to break. Got another look at that. I want to bring in Jerry Austin, twice the Super Bowl referee, man, was actually under the hood, our rules expert. What do you see here? What are we looking at, Jerry?
Well, the first thing I see is both hands on the ball before the ball touches the ground. You can make an argument that's a completion, and the ball touching the ground is a completed pass touching the ground.
Is there enough there to say that that pass is complete, even though it hits the ground and the rubber pellets come up as he drags the ball on the ground?
I think there's enough there to say it's complete, but I don't know that this referee will make it that way.
Okay, here's Clete Blakeman, the referee.
After review of the play, the receiver locked in the catch. The ruling on the field is confirmed. New Orleans will be charged with their first timeout.
Jerry, I know what you saw, and I agree, and thank you. That's why you're here. But I got to tell you, this is where this is getting ridiculous. If the ball hits the ground, it can't be a catch. Not like, I mean, did you see the ground come up, John?
Yeah, I used to coach for a living. You got to get over it, get back to the game. But I'll tell you what.
Come on, was that a catch?
No, it wasn't
Thank
a
you.
catch.
I know by rule it was, but you know, you ask 50 people in a bar, was that a catch or not a catch? They'd probably say it wasn't a catch. All right. So they're at the 39, and the drive stays alive, and New Orleans loses a timeout there. They cannot earn a third challenge. Bryce Brown is the running back. Vilma gets right through the hole. Couldn't get to Brown, but off the corner, Malcolm Jenkins, the safety, makes the play and limits the game.
Steve Spagnuolo is coming after the Eagles. That time, Jonathan Vilma shoots a gap on the weak side. He's unaccounted for, and you're going to see Malcolm Jenkins come off your left side and make a beautiful open field tackle. I like the aggressive style that the New Orleans Saints have come out here with defensively tonight. Good to see Vilma back in black.
They're being more aggressive tonight than they have been the last few games?
A lot more.
After the gain of one, LeSean McCoy looking for space, only a couple of yards. How about the last 3 games for LeSean McCoy? 53 yards rushing, 22 yards rushing, 45 yards rushing. What's happened with McCoy?
Hard to believe. I think it's a combination of things. They're not playing Jones Jr. high, Mike. They played some really good defensive teams, the Atlanta Falcons, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have to block better. There's a lot of inexperience up front, and they played some good teams.
Still the opening drive of the game for the Eagles, with a couple of third down conversions already. Vick hit. Pressure came up the middle, but a marker down as Martez Wilson came in with the contact.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Hit to the head of the quarterback, number 95 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It is on the man who made the sack. You could hear the helmet-to-helmet contact. That was called.
These are backbreakers. They're using Martez Wilson as an inside pass rusher to get more speed on the field, and he beats Kelly like a drum. Second time right guard Kelly has been beaten badly. It looked like he ducked into that foul. I can see the Saints' frustration on their sidelines. The catch by Avant, the personal foul, 2 big calls by the officials early in this game.
Drive stays alive at the 27-yard line. Vick on play action. Scrambling, nowhere to go. And Broderick Bunkley, who was inactive last week against the Broncos. John, we're seeing a lot of what we've seen all year. Michael Vick taking direct hits.
Yeah, and he's not going to last very long. That time it's a bootleg. They're trying to bring him back to his throwing side. You're going to see the lineman pull, but Michael Vick is under immediate pressure from Will Smith. They contain him well. He's taken 4 big hits in this opening series. That's got to stop.
Second and 13, 10 players at the line for New Orleans, all coming. Ball spit out on the hit by Cameron Jordan. Vilma dives for it, but it's recovered by Todd Harrimans of the Eagles. A huge loss back into Philly territory.
I don't know how this protection system works, but they're going to need some audibles, or they're going to need to take some time out, because the Arizona Cardinals buried Michael Vick with double A-gap pressure a few weeks ago, and they're bringing it again tonight. That time, Jonathan Vilma not touched. You see Cameron Jordan, number 94. They're getting to Michael Vick with 2-3 defenders every time he takes a snap.
And by Vick able to grab the player as he was going for the ball, it may have saved a touchdown. Going the other way, a scoop and score. 3 consecutive sacks gives you third and a third of the field. A little shotgun draw with McCoy. So despite a couple of calls that did not go the Saints' way, Philadelphia, after about 6.5 minutes, will have to punt the ball.
And Michael Vick better go see Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach, and get some answers, because Steve Spagnuolo has made his point perfectly clear. He's coming after the Philadelphia Eagle quarterback tonight.
So Lance Moore is back deep. We mentioned Darren Sproles at the very top, the outstanding all-purpose player for New Orleans, out with a broken hand. Saints tell us he did that in the game last week against Denver. They find out till Monday. Pressure off the edge, but Mac McBriar gets it away. And it's a touchback. New Orleans will take over the 20. A 14-play drive with a punt at the back end. Rarely do you see that. And we've seen a lot of this year. Vic getting pummeled. Team play drive, no points, and ending up in a punt. You don't see that very often, right? Well, hasn't happened this year in the NFL. Last time it happened, Arizona did it for 16 plays last year. So, after a long wait, after being introduced, Drew Brees and this New Orleans offense takes over. Man's thrown a touchdown pass in 50 straight games, the National Football League record that he set in this building about a month ago. Handoff, Mark Ingram, nowhere to go as Cullen Jenkins walks right in with Trent Cole for a loss of 5.
Wow, the Saints go to Charles Brown, an extra tight end, to run the football, and Mark Ingram has no chance. Watch Trent Cole. He beats Charles Brown easily to the inside. That's not how you want to start the game.
Chris Ivory checks in as the running back. And the play is killed for a false start.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And a poor start for Brees in this offense. Sproles out with the hand injury. And as we said at the very beginning, rare poor offensive performance in Denver for this crew.
Well, I think they need to run the ball to help their defense. They're only getting 26 minutes of possession time, and their defense is out there too long. They also have to sustain some drives. Too many 3-and-outs. And they were 1 for 12 on third down last week against the Broncos. That won't get it.
Second and 18. Drew Brees, first throw caught by Jimmy Graham. It's back near where the drive started at the 21-yard line. Graham has a nagging ankle injury, but it's Sproles. You see that hand that was all bandaged up, broken, had surgery. 4 to 6 weeks. Didn't hear about that injury until later on in the week, and that's a significant impact. What is missing without Darren Sproles?
Well, not only his playmaking, but the threat of Darren Sproles. He changes the way you call a game from a defensive standpoint because linebackers can't cover Darren Sproles.
Eagles defense hopping around. 3rd and 9. Brees, pressure, got away from Trent Cole, takes a shot down the field for Lance Moore. Holds on with a flag down at the 41-yard line. Assuming it'll stand, it's a gain of 38.
Unbelievable. Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, calls the perfect blitz. The automatics to an all-out blitz against an empty backfield set, and Trent Cole misses Drew Brees.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. Penalties declined. Yardage is good for a first down.
You talk about getting there and making the sack. They're not going to block the left defensive end. They got a double A gap blitz. Trent Cole is clean. And Drew Brees dips that inside shoulder. Unbelievable play by Brees.
So from 2nd and 18, they pick up the first down, and Brees incomplete. Try to swing it out to Pierre Thomas.
You know, this no-back offense is a huge part of the Saints' success. Nobody does it better. No backs. They give 5 receivers free releases, and you have to have a plan as a defensive coach how you're going to deal with it. Are you going to play maximum zone, or are you going to come after it? That time the Eagles blitzed it. They had the right play called, and Trent Cole didn't get it done.
The count for the 41, put it in the belly of Pierre Thomas up the middle. Nice run for about 7 yards for Thomas.
Pierre Thomas had a lot to do with the New Orleans Saints winning a world championship a couple years ago, Mike. He picks up blitzes. He runs routes. He's an outstanding runner. He can run in the I formation, shotgun. It doesn't matter. To have a man like Pierre Thomas on your football team when Darren Sproles goes down is a real luxury for the New Orleans Saints.
3rd and short. Brees over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Jimmy Graham, being blanketed by Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. So the Eagles do what they couldn't do last week in the opening drive, stop the offense on 3rd down.
I think Jimmy Graham's got to make this play. It's a basic cross, 12 to 14 yards. He breaks inside. Ball's thrown slightly behind him. But Jimmy Graham made every one of those catches last year. He's been a little inconsistent catching the football. And that sets up Hartley for a long-range field goal.
Need a 53-yarder at Carolina. And Garrett Hartley out of Oklahoma tries this from 52. And it's wide left. Both teams moved the ball, had opportunities, but no points. Just about 10 minutes in, opening quarter. Second drive for Michael Vick and the Eagles. First drive, a lot of what we've seen this season for Vick and the Eagles.
He got hit 5 times in his first 9 passes. Cameron Jordan beats Kelly at right guard. Dunlap misses a block. Kelly again right up the middle. Michael Vick isn't going to take many more of these hits. And Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach, is not at all happy with his young center, Dallas Reynolds. Remember, when you have a young center that you go to at the midpoint of the season, defenses are going to challenge him with a lot of looks that he hasn't put on a card and practiced all week. So far, the Saints are getting after this Eagle offensive line.
Start from the 42 and swing out to Deshaun Jackson. Jason Avant blocking downfield on a gain of 5. So John, Michael Vick, for this entire season, so much talked about. We visited with him in the preseason. He talked about the anticipation. And when we sat with him last night, it almost felt like there were stop signs for Michael Vick. Don't turn it over. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. And what's resulted in, they're just not turning it loose the way they are when they're effective.
Hard to do. A lot of quick passes given these circumstances.
They'll run with McCoy. A nice move by LaShawn McCoy into Saints territory and a first down gain of 8.
That time Michael Vick does a great job audibling to a strong side stretch play. Here's a corner blitz, a linebacker blitzing off the weak side. Mike Vick says, let's run as far away from that blitz as we can. Nice job by Vick. Sensing the pressure, good adjustment on the sideline. I think Vick anticipates the game plan of the Saints now. He's going to be looking for one-on-one matchups and audibles.
Decent amount of Bryce Brown here in the first quarter. And they spent by Brown. There goes the rookie out of Kansas State. Inside the 20, inside the 10, and it's first and goal for the Eagles as Bryce Brown gets his longest NFL run, a gain of 40.
Deshaun Jackson with a nice block. And if you're going to blitz us up the middle, we're going to toss the ball to the outside. Deshaun Jackson, number 10, is going to enter your screen, make a nice block, and it's just good cutback running by Bryce Brown. Excellent play selection by Philadelphia. They get hurt with the inside blitz. 2 outside runs have the Eagles in a first and goal.
Eagles in the red zone where too often they've settled for field goals this year. McCoy left, lost 2.
The field that the New Orleans Saints have showed a lot of all-out blitzing. Look for Andy Reid to try to isolate one of his receivers or his tight end, Brent Selleck. But Steve Spagnuolo is known for not just blitzing down here in the tight red zone. He's known for bringing everybody he has.
You see their failures in the opening quarter, and on that touchdown drive against Baltimore, they took over at the 15-yard line of the Ravens. It wasn't really even a drive. Pressure shown by the Saints. Pressure comes. Vick puts it up, deflected and intercepted. Along the sideline, it's Patrick Robinson, who got a block, and Robinson is gone. It'll be 99-yard touchdown.
Exactly.
The flag back here at the 28-yard line, around where the block was occurring around Michael Vick.
How many times can Philadelphia turn the ball over in the tight red zone of their opponent? All out blitz. Vick looks for his tight end, Selleck, and another catastrophe.
And off the hand of Selleck to Robinson, who was just waiting, and took it down the sideline. Now Michael Vick got involved in the post play, trying to make a block, or make a tackle, I should say. That's what Clete Blakeman and his officiating crew are talking about here. Side Judge Greg Meyer in the most conversation with Blakeman. As you watch it, here's the call.
After the interception, personal foul, low block against the offense, number 7. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So it officially will go down as a 98-yard interception return for Patrick Robinson, who gave up a couple of touchdowns last week and 2 deep balls against Denver. And as Vic goes low trying to make the tackle, he's the one flagged. And the Saints have taken the lead.
Andy Reid has to be sick. 13 times the Eagles have turned the ball over in their opponent's territory. Hard to overcome those.
There you see, it has always been the story of this year, the mistakes, turnovers that get credited to Vic, whether the fumbles or that pick in the red zone. Second red zone interception thrown. The extra point added by Garrett Hartley. It's one shy of the record. Darren Sharper had a 99-yard interception. I believe it was against Favre and the Jets in here. This one goes 98, the longest interception return in the NFL this year for Patrick Robinson. 7-0, New Orleans. Well, Steve Spagnuolo's defense finally comes up with a big play. The touchdown return for Patrick Robinson. And in break, they went back to what we originally said. It is 99 yards on the interception return. So it does tie Darren Sharper for the longest in Saints history. And the most important thing for Philadelphia is they're in a 7-0 hole. And really, on their first 2 drives, looked like they were going to come away with points. Kicking from the 50 because of the penalty. Hartley just, or rather Morstead just bangs it right through the uprights. No return.
Well, Steve Spagnuolo likes all-out blitz in the tight red zone. You're going to see Jenkins and you're going to see Harper apply the pressure. And Selleck, the tight end, is the primary receiver on a quick outside breaking route. Against the blitz, ball's thrown slightly to the outside. And when you have tip passes in the middle of the field, it's a problem. Here's Selleck working against Casillas. Ball needs to be thrown, obviously, a little bit better than that. I've never seen so many horrific plays in the tight red zone than I've seen from Philadelphia in the first half of this season.
So they're back at it. Vic from the 20. It's a 5-yard throw for Selleck. Incomplete. You mentioned all the turnovers. That's the 18th of the year, ties to 3rd most in the league, and so many of them happening red zone or on the plus territory. You're inside the opponent's 50, and many of them have happened because of Vic fumbles or picks. And as you said there, John, it's a tip, it's a deflection, but you got to make a better throw because it's so packed in there with people. 21st play of this opening quarter. McCoy's got the edge. LeSean McCoy made a nice extra move to stay in bounds and turn it into a gain of almost 14.
If you're going to blitz up the middle, you better have the perimeter part of your defense straight. You see Deuce Staley jawing with Malcolm Jenkins, and Todd Harriman's, the right tackle, is injured.
Well, his team that has already lost 3/5 of its starting offense sees the veteran in his 8th year, Todd Harriman, who's only missed 1 start in the last 3 years. Not looking very good as he's heading off the field.
Andy Reid can't bear to watch. When you lose 1 lineman, it's a problem. Here comes Demetrius Bell, who struggled at left tackle. Be interesting to see what they do with Bell. Will they move him to right tackle, or will they flip Dunlap over?
Harriman's is still limping off the field.
Here's Harriman's at right tackle, number 79 on the backside on this cutoff block. Take a look at his lower body. Right ankle.
We always focus so much on the left tackle. Michael Vick, a lefty, so that right tackle spot becomes increasingly important. Now manned by Demetrius Bell. Has started 4 times this year. Look at the opening for McCoy. Again, another big run, a great cut. McCoy with a flag down comes down at the 31-yard line. 2 flags come down, which could eat into a 31-yard game.
Jeremy Maclin may be guilty downfield blocking. Philadelphia is ripping New Orleans with their running game right now.
illegal block in the back. Offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty, still enough for a first down.
Macklin downfield.
Well, they run the stretch play. They used Deshaun Jackson on the ghost over the top. Let's see what Macklin did downfield. Very good call.
He sounded very confident. He sold that.
Yeah.
He sold that.
Everything looks like a penalty in this high-speed slow-mo, Mike.
Harriman's in a great deal of pain. As the training staff looks at him, Bryce Brown is back in there at running back. He had a huge run on the last drive. And he bounces it to the outside. John, the Saints defense, they're giving up huge runs in this opening quarter.
Well, Michael Vick is running the ball with audibles. That time he sees the strong safety down. He checks to a weak side run, and Bryce Brown continues to pound. Nice job by Havili, the fullback, and Bryce Brown has got some strong lower body parts. I like the way this young back is hammering it up inside.
Eagles have already run for 100 yards against the Saints in this first quarter. McCoy tried to dance away from Jonathan Vilma, but could not. And a loss of a yard as the quarter comes to an end.
Boy, it's great to see Vilma back. Johnny Vilma's had the bounty issue we know about. He's also had a serious knee problem, had no off-season, no training camp, no preseason. He's learning a new defense. He comes back, and Curtis Lofton is playing his middle linebacker position. But here is a real New Orleans Saint. Great leader of this football team.
End of the quarter, dominated by the Eagles, but led by the Saints. Last quarter ended with a Jonathan Vilma tackle. Think you know the story. Suspended for the season initially for his alleged role as one of the leaders in that bounty scandal that happened from 2009 through 2011. This is his third game he's playing while the appeals process plays out. It's now in the hands of the courts, and former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. Remember, Roger Goodell, the current commissioner, recused himself from the appeal hearing, and that hearing with Paul Tagliabue should happen in the next couple of weeks, targeting a date of 2 weeks from now. As with the confusion and the substitutions made there, the clock is stopped and the officials were sorted out. But Paul Tagliabue today, by the way, denied the motion to recuse himself, so he's still going to be the next person to have a voice heard in the hearing. You know, Vilma still has civil litigation pending against the commissioner, Roger Goodell, the NFL. And I asked him, why does he continue to do that as this goes on? And he said, very simple, I want my good name back. Vilma has a 2-year-old daughter, and he said, his quote was, I don't want her to hear about the bounty scandal and suspension when my name's mentioned. I want her to hear what's been said about me for many years. I'm a smart, hardworking quarterback of the defense who's been a great player and a great guy in this league. Clete Blakeman, the official, gets everything sorted out here as the Eagles are over by their huddle. I mentioned that hearing going to happen in a couple of weeks. November 20 is the date that Paul Tagliabue has set. It's a very complex situation away from football. And for Vilma and Breeze, the leaders in this team, they've certainly had to bear the weight of that. You know, we're not here to talk about who's guilty, what happened exactly. But when you look at this football team, the impacts are shown in some of these individuals, including a guy like Vilma. He's back on the field, as we said, for his third game here tonight. The timeout is charged to the Eagles. It's 3rd and 3. As Vick throws, it's complete, but a good wrap-up tackle by Vilma on Clay Harbor denies the first down.
That's the Jonathan Vilma I know. He's one of my favorite players. I studied him at Miami, Florida. He's been the same kind of player for as long as I can remember. This time they pick up the blitz, Philadelphia does, and Vilma rallies to his coverage and makes the tackle for no gain. 4th down, and Philly's going for it. Expect Michael Vick to use his legs in this situation. Andy Reid loves to throw the football in 4th and 1.
From the 38, they'll run it. McCoy gets out of the would-be tackle by Harper into the secondary again. And LaShawn McCoy with a jump at the taken down after a gain of 33 yards.
And it should be a gain of no yards. Roman Harper, Jabari Greer, both with opportunities to stop LaShawn McCoy, and man, is he running hot. Right off the right side, Harper's got a shot. Watch, Jabari Greer's got a chance. That's just bad tackling, 3 missed tackles, and if you don't wrap up LaShawn McCoy, he will rip you. Great run by LaShawn McCoy.
He has 90 rushing yards already. A minute and a half into the second quarter. He needs a break. Bryce Brown is in. And he has almost no gain. Lisa Salters has an update on the sideline. Lisa.
Hey, Mike, another blow for the Eagles offensive line. Todd Harriman's injured just a short while ago. Went back to the back for x-rays. They're calling it an ankle/foot injury. His return is doubtful.
So Harriman's down, Lisa. As we mentioned earlier, Jason Kelce, the center, is out. The other starting offensive lineman on the right side, Danny Watkins, out with the ankle injury. And John mentioned Jason Peters before.
Better be ready for blitz. This is where Spagnuolo got him the last time.
At the 4, Vick shovel pass McCoy. No gain.
Well, Michael Vick presents the illusion that he's going to sprint to his left and throw the football. They're trying to get the linebackers to flow, and they'll pull the backside guard and just shovel it to the halfback. But Curtis Lofton, Casillas, they're having none of this. And once again, number 67, the right guard, young Dennis Kelly's having a hard time blocking New Orleans Saints.
Third and goal, Vick. End zone, no for Jackson, with Roman Harper in the way.
Trying to get Deshaun Jackson on a quick short post inside the 5-yard line, and it's awfully tight. Michael Vick tries to stick it in there, but it's good defense by New Orleans. Watch Deshaun break across number 24, Corey White's face. Not much real estate to throw that pattern inside the 5. Good red zone defense. That's twice for New Orleans.
Alex Henry, second year out of Nebraska, short field goal attempt, 22 yards. And he knocks it through. The Saints have only had the ball for 2.5 minutes. But they have the lead because of a red zone turnover. And that time, first and goal at the 5 on the drive. First and goal at the 4. And they couldn't get it to Jackson. New Orleans, our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. Saints on top 7-3, 3 minutes into this second quarter, and we haven't seen much Drew Brees. Game started about an hour ago. We saw Drew Brees for like 2 minutes, and he's been on the bench.
I'm sure Drew Brees is thrilled that his defense has made a big contribution in this first quarter.
Travaris Cadet fills the role of Sproles as the kick return man. And here comes the rookie Cadet. They'll bring it out to the 23-yard line, John.
Saints defense has got to handle the running game better. The Eagles. Watch Deshaun Jackson on the ghost, and Curtis Lofton is taking his eyes off of the running play and looking at Deshaun, and they get hurt bad with a stretch play. There's no one there. Then just count the missed tackles. 1. Cutback, there's 2. Another cutback, there's 3 missed tackles. You're going to see a 4th and a 5th. 5 missed tackles, that won't cut it. They've given up 140 yards rushing and only 3 points. Hard to believe.
You see only 6 plays in 2.5 minutes. This is the second possession for Brees and the Saints. And it begins with a Chris Ivory run across the 30-yard shy of the first down, and the fans react.
I'm one of the fans. I've been waiting for Chris Ivory. Everybody's talking about Ingram and the running play. Just slam this big 220-pound back right off the right side. He's got over 1,000 yards in his 2-year career here. I don't care if he's from Tiffin College or not, and he's backing up the Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. The best back should play, and I think Chris Ivory gives the Saints something they've been lacking.
First time he's touched it this year. Brees shot down the field, looking for Devery Henderson. Incomplete. Nnamdi Asomugha. with the coverage.
Well, defensive coordinator Todd Bowles was talking about this action, this play action bomb protection that the Saints use. They slide the fullback across the formation and they fake the ball to Ivory, and they generate a lot of down the field vertical offense, and they use their jets. And there's a great play by Nnamdi Asomugha, one of the corners we talked about in the pregame, Mike, that needs to step up. That time the veteran Cal Berkeley Bear did a great job.
Took the shot on second and short, and on third and short, the former Heisman winner, Mark Ingram, bowling forward for the first down at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, I think the Saints got to get excited about some 4, 5, and 6-yard runs. When they won their Super Bowl in 2009, they got after you with Mike Bell in a very strong, underestimated running game. And I think Mark Ingram, Chris Ivory, two downhill backs that'll really benefit by getting some carries. They just don't run the ball much here in New Orleans.
Well, they keep the extra offensive lineman Charles Brown out there, the blocking tight end. First and 10, here is a back-to-back run, and it's Ingram, and he's running hard for the first down. It's Eagle territory.
There's a Heisman Trophy winner. He saw Ivory come in and steal his show. He said, put me back in the game. That time an inside zone, he cuts it back. He runs right over Nnamdi Asomugha. Watch him cut it back. Number 24 is going to show up on your right side. Take that, Asomugha. And he breaks another tackle, and he moves the pile. 5 Philadelphia Eagles it takes to stop Mark Ingram. That's why they traded up in the first round to get the former Heisman Trophy winner for runs like that.
Gain was 23. His play is just late getting to the line. Drew Brees, a full-service quarterback. His left guard, Ben Grubbs, lost his shoe. Brees untied it, got it ready for Grubbs to put on and block. Jimmy Graham's got a catch. Yard shy of the first down at the 30.
How'd you like to be David Sims? Starting your first game ever at the safety position. Nate Allen's out, and you got to play against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Here's just an outside breaking route. David Sims pressed into service, does a nice job making an open field tackle. Keep an eye on the young safety man.
First snaps at safety. Nate Allen out, hamstring injury. To the tight end, back to Graham in front of the linebacker Michael Kendricks. First down.
Well, Drew Brees has got it going now. If you give Drew Brees a running game and they get some kind of balance, they can be unstoppable. Just look at the numbers they put up in the last few years. It's an array of formations, personnel groupings. They change the tempo on a snap-by-snap basis, and Drew Brees will research the Eagle defense, and he will make sure that this offense runs a play into an optimum look. He won't waste the snap.
To Ivory, winding it back at the 15. Look at him hit it. Ivory touchdown.
There you go. That's what we talked about in the pregame, Mike. Drew Brees just needs a little bit of help. From his defense, check that off. And from his running game, double check. Mark Ingram and Chris Ivory just took it to the Philadelphia Eagles. That time a counter play. They love to run it to the right side behind Jari Evans. And look at Drew Brees. He sees the perfect look. He runs the counter back to the right side. Here comes his friend Ivory. And there's the safety we just talked about. Number 21, David Sims, is going to have his hands full for the next 45 minutes.
Extra point, doinked in. Hartley almost missed that one over to the right. Chris Ivory, people were calling for making his season debut, making it count. 11-point lead for New Orleans. Great folks at the American Red Cross were so instrumental down here post-Katrina, and now doing their amazing work, life-saving services, meals, shelter, mobilizing resources and workers nationwide after Superstorm Sandy up in the Atlantic. You can text Red Cross to 90999 or visit redcross.org. $10